Amber's breath came in quick, shallow bursts. She gripped the steering wheel as if it were the only thing keeping her tethered to reality. The snowstorm raged outside, thick, icy flakes lashing at the windshield, making it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. The harsh wind howled through the trees like an angry spirit determined to strip the world bare. Yet in the car it felt like the storm was only part of the battle. The real fight was within her. The emptiness that had consumed her heart when Derek drove off, the man who was supposed to stand by her, still lingered, gnawing at her insides. "I'm better off without you," Derek had said, his words bitter and final before he slammed the door, disappearing into the storm. She could still feel the sting of his departure as if it had happened moments ago. He left her, pregnant and alone, in the coldest, most desolate place imaginable. Her hands shook and her eyes welled with tears, but she couldn't let them fall. Not now. Not when the world seemed so determined to swallow her whole. She thought about calling someone, anyone, but the phone had slipped from her grasp hours ago, fallen between the seats. No one could help her now. Derek had made sure of that. Her thoughts were interrupted by the faint rumble of an engine. For a moment, she thought she imagined it, her mind playing tricks in the face of the storm. But there it was again, closer this time, growing louder. The headlights of a car cut through the blizzard, moving toward her. Amber blinked, her pulse quickening. Could it be someone coming to help? She almost didn't dare hope. The car slowed to a stop next to hers. Amber's heart skipped a beat. The door opened. And then she saw him. Ethan. Her breath caught in her throat. He hadn't changed. His face, still the same as when she last saw him years ago, sent a rush of emotions flooding through her. She had left him back then, chosen security over the love they once shared. And now, here he was, standing in front of her in the middle of this storm like nothing had ever changed. For a split second, Amber just stared at him, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts. What was he doing here? How could he have found her? The questions were too much, too overwhelming, but the moment she saw his eyes that held the same warmth she remembered, everything else melted away. "Amber," he said, his voice calm but filled with concern. "What are you doing out here in this storm?" The words were simple, but they carried so much weight. She was frozen, not by the cold, but by the flood of emotions crashing over her. Ethan, her first love, the one who had always known her better than anyone else, was here, when she needed him the most. But what did that even mean? Could he really help her? Could he fix the mess Derek had left behind? And more importantly, could she trust him again after everything that had happened? Ethan's gaze softened, sensing the turmoil behind her eyes. "Come on, let's get you somewhere safe." But as Amber climbed into his car, the thought gnawed at her. Why now? Why had he come back after all these years? Was it just coincidence, or was fate pulling them together once more? As Ethan's car pulled away, Amber's thoughts swirled in a chaotic mix of emotions. She was grateful to be out of the storm, but deep down, she couldn't escape the question. Was this truly the beginning of a new chapter? Or was it just another fleeting moment of hope that would fade as quickly as it came? What do you think? Was Amber's reunion with Ethan fate or just a twist of chance? Could you forgive someone who walked away from you when you needed them most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. The road ahead was quiet. Only the sound of the engine and the occasional hiss of the windshield wipers broke the silence. Ethan didn't speak much as he drove, his hands firmly gripping the wheel, his gaze focused on the road ahead. Amber stared out the window, watching the snowflakes swirl in the headlights, her mind racing. She wanted to ask him so many things. Why are you here? How did you find me? What do you want from me? But the words wouldn't come. The silence stretched between them like an insurmountable chasm. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Ethan broke the silence. You don't have to say anything. I just want to help. Amber didn't look at him. She couldn't. The pain of Derek's abandonment was too fresh, and she didn't want to confront the feelings Ethan stirred up inside her. I don't know if I can trust anyone anymore, she said, her voice barely a whisper. The words felt like an admission of failure, like she was confessing to herself more than to Ethan. Derek was supposed to be the one, he promised, but now, I'm here, alone. Ethan's grip on the wheel tightened. You're not alone, he said softly. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. But Amber couldn't believe him, not fully. It had been years since they'd parted ways and so much had changed. She wasn't the same woman she once was, and neither was he. As the miles passed, Amber's emotions continued to churn within her, unresolved. She was scared to let Ethan in, to trust him again. What if she made the wrong choice again? What if he was just another man who would leave her when the going got tough? Ethan glanced at Amber, his jaw set with determination. I'm not leaving, Amber, you have to know that. But deep down, Amber wasn't sure if she could believe him. Yet. Do you think Amber should trust Ethan after everything that happened? Or do you think she's right to be cautious? Let me know what you think in the comments. Your perspective really matters. The cabin was small, but it felt like a sanctuary. Warm light spilled from the windows, casting soft shadows on the snow outside. Amber stepped inside, feeling the heat on her face as she shed her coat. Ethan was already inside, unpacking a bag, his movements calm and methodical. For a moment, Amber just stood there, unsure of what to do. She felt like an outsider in her own life, as if she had somehow stepped into someone else's story. The life she thought she was building with Derek had crumbled, and now she was here, in a cabin with a man who once meant everything to her. She turned to face him. I don't know why you came back, Ethan, but I need you to understand. I can't just forget everything that's happened. Ethan paused, his gaze steady but gentle. I don't expect you to forget. I just want a chance to show you that I'm not the same person I was back then. Amber felt a pang in her chest at his words. She remembered the love they had shared, the passion, the connection that had once felt so real. But now it all seemed so far away. I don't know if I can trust you again, she admitted, her voice breaking with the weight of her own vulnerability. Derek, he's the father of my child. I can't just throw that away. Ethan nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. I get it, but you deserve more than just surviving, Amber. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved, and I'm here, willing to fight for that. The air between them grew heavy, charged with the tension of their past and the uncertainty of the future. Amber's heart raced, torn between the man who had walked away and the one who had never truly left. Could she find it within herself to trust him again, or was it already too late? What would you do in Amber's shoes? Could you let go of the past and trust someone again? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. The air in the cabin was thick, suffocating even. Amber stood by the window, staring out into the dark abyss of the snowstorm, still unsure if this was some dream she'd awakened from. Ethan's presence behind her felt like an anchor, but also a weight, one that pulled her in two directions. She wanted to trust him, to believe that the man who stood before her now was the same man who had once held her heart. But everything felt so fragile, so easily shattered. Amber, Ethan said quietly, his voice breaking through the silence that had settled between them. He had been patiently waiting for her to speak, but she didn't know where to begin. Everything felt too raw, too fragile to touch. She turned to face him, her heart pounding in her chest. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, but a small part of her, one that had been burned by Derek's betrayal, was hesitant, guarded. I don't know if I can do this, she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of her own vulnerability. I don't know if I can just jump back into something with you, Ethan. Ethan stepped closer, closing the space between them. His eyes softened as he placed a hand gently on her shoulder, his thumb brushing lightly over the fabric of her shirt. "You don't have to do anything, Amber. I'm not asking for your forgiveness right away. I just want a chance to show you that I'm not the same man I was before." The warmth of his touch comforted her, but it wasn't enough. There was so much history between them, so many unresolved feelings. Was she truly ready to face them? Could she trust him again? Could she trust herself to make the right decision this time? Amber's mind was a storm of its own, but as the seconds ticked by, her heart was no longer sure if it could continue to hold on to its doubts. The air between them thickened, and Amber knew that if she didn't speak now, she might lose the chance forever. Could she find a way to let go of the past? "What do you think? Could you trust someone who had walked away from you? What would it take for you to forgive them?" Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next part of Amber's journey. Let's talk about second chances. The crackling of the fire was the only sound in the cabin as Ethan prepared some tea, his movements slow, deliberate, like he was waiting for Amber to speak, to say something, anything. But she was silent. Her thoughts felt like 1,000 weights pressing down on her chest, and every time she opened her mouth, the words felt trapped inside her. She finally broke the silence. "I don't know how to forgive you, Ethan. After everything that happened between us, it feels impossible." Ethan's eyes darkened with regret. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking for a chance not to erase the past but to make something different, something real, together." Amber stared at him, searching for any sign of the man she once knew. He was still here, still the same in so many ways, but she wasn't the same person anymore. She had changed, hardened by the years without him, and yet the pull of their past was undeniable. She could still feel the way he had made her feel, alive, free, loved. But was that enough? He stepped closer to her, the tension between them crackling like static. "You don't have to make a decision now," he said softly. "But I won't give up on you, not this time, not ever." His words were a promise, but promises had been broken before. Amber's throat tightened as she swallowed down the emotions threatening to overwhelm her. As Ethan reached out to touch her hand, Amber hesitated. Could she really allow him back into her life, or would this be another mistake? Was her heart strong enough to trust him again? What would you do in Amber's shoes? Can trust be rebuilt after it's been shattered? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter, where we find out if Amber can find the strength to move forward. Amber's hands shook as she packed her bag, her movements rushed, as if by doing so she could outrun the uncertainty that gripped her. Ethan had insisted on giving her space, not pushing her to make a decision. He was giving her time to think, but every second felt like a year. The truth was, she didn't know if she could keep going. She couldn't keep living in the past, but the thought of facing a future without Ethan, without love, was terrifying. She heard a knock on the door, and Ethan entered, his face marked with both concern and determination. "Amber, you can't keep running from this. We can't keep avoiding what we both know is there." Her breath hitched in her throat. "I don't know how to do this, Ethan. I don't know if I'm strong enough to love again. Not after everything Derek put me through." Ethan stepped forward, his hand reaching out to her. "You are stronger than you think, Amber, and I'll be here every step of the way, but you have to trust me. You have to trust yourself." Amber's heart raced, her mind a battlefield of conflicting emotions. Was this truly the moment to embrace what she had lost, or was she just setting herself up for another heartbreak? What do you think Amber should do? Should she trust Ethan and take that leap of faith? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to follow Amber's journey. This story is far from over. Ethan's words haunted Amber as she sat by the fire, lost in thought. She hadn't realized just how much her past had shaped her until now. The pain of betrayal by Derek, the constant fear that love would never be enough, it all had a hold on her, and she wasn't sure how to break free. But Ethan was different. He had always been different. She could feel the sincerity in his actions, the way he had shown up for her when no one else had. She needed to know the truth. Why now? Why after all these years? "You're still the same, aren't you?" Amber asked, her voice breaking through the quiet of the cabin. "I mean, after everything you're still here. Why?" Ethan looked at her, his expression soft but firm. "I never left, Amber, not in my heart. You were the one who walked away, but I've always known this. Our story isn't over. Not yet." As Amber processed his words, something clicked inside her. Could it be? Could they really pick up where they left off? Or was this just another chapter of pain waiting to repeat itself? Do you believe in second chances? Can Amber and Ethan really rebuild their past, or is it doomed to fail? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to catch the next part of this emotional journey. The days passed in a blur, but something inside Amber had shifted. She no longer feared the future, or at least not as much. Ethan was there for her in ways Derek never had been. The support he gave her, the love, the kindness. It was everything she had ever dreamed of, but never believed would happen again. They spent their days rebuilding, not just Amber's life, but their relationship, step by step. The pain of the past was still there, lingering like a shadow, but Amber was learning to let it go. She was choosing to believe that there was more to life than the heartbreak she had endured. One afternoon, as they worked together on a project, Ethan looked at her, his gaze soft. "Amber, I don't want you to feel like you owe me anything. You're doing this for yourself, not for me." Amber smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "I know. I think I'm finally starting to do this for me." But just as Amber began to feel a sense of peace, a new obstacle loomed on the horizon. Could their new life withstand the challenges ahead, or was everything about to come crashing down? What do you think Amber's future holds? Can she truly rebuild her life with Ethan, or is the past too powerful to overcome? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part of this journey. Amber stood on the porch, looking out at the horizon. The sun was setting, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of peace. Ethan stood next to her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "You did it," he said quietly. "You found your way back." Amber smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek. "We did it," she corrected, her voice full of emotion. "I couldn't have done it without you." But even as Amber basked in the warmth of her new beginning, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was still missing. Would the past truly stay behind? Or was it about to come rushing back in ways she couldn't imagine? What's your take on Amber's journey? Do you think she's finally found peace, or is there more to her story? Let us know in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter. The story isn't over yet. Amber looked at Ethan, her heart full of love and gratitude. They had come so far through the storms, through the pain, through the lessons. As the final pieces of their journey fell into place, Amber realized that the past no longer had a hold on her. She had grown stronger, wiser, and more certain of what she wanted from life. She was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that, no matter what, she had the strength to survive. And with Ethan by her side, she finally felt whole again. But as Amber looked out into the future, she couldn't help but wonder, would the lessons she had learned be enough to protect her from whatever challenges life might throw her way? Or was the greatest test still to come? Do you think Amber has truly found peace? Or is her story far from over? Share your thoughts in the comments below and make sure to hit the subscribe button. You won't want to miss the next chapter in her journey.